everyone, and welcome back to the Wisdom by Harry YouTube channel. My name is Harry.
And I'm Mary. We're so excited to have you here today for another fascinating episode.
Today, we're diving deep into the world of Deepseek R1. It's this AI that's been making waves lately. There are all these claims that it might even be smarter than ChatGPT. So we've got a whole stack of articles and research papers right here. Our mission for this deep dive is to help you cut through all the hype, really understand what Deepseek R1 is all about. Whether you're a total tech enthusiast or just curious about the future of AI, this deep dive is definitely for you. So you're probably wondering where this Deepseek R1 even came from.
Well, it all started with Deepseek AI. It's a company that was founded just back in 2023 by a group of leading AI researchers and engineers. And they had a pretty ambitious goal. They wanted to make advanced AI accessible to everyone, not just big tech companies, or research labs, but everyday people.
And their name Deepseek is a pretty cool reflection of that mission too, right? It's like combining the power of deep learning with this idea of always seeking out new innovative solutions. Like they're on this quest to unlock the full potential of AI.
Yeah, and so they launched in 2023. And their initial focus was on natural language processing, or NLP for short. NLP is all about making sure AI can understand all the nuances of human language, the way we speak, the way we write, and how we communicate. It's really the foundation for so many cool AI applications, things like chatbots and translation tools. And then in late 2023, they kind of dropped this bombshell Deepseek R1. And this AI model just shook up the world with everything it could do. And it's honestly been making headlines ever since.
What's really impressive to me is just how quickly Deepseek has made a global impact.
Yeah.
I mean, you see stories everywhere about everyone using it, from startups to Fortune 500 companies. It's like Deepseek R1 is popping up everywhere.
Yeah, it's true. It's really been adopted across a huge range of different sectors, from tech and finance to healthcare and even education. It's definitely proven to be a pretty versatile tool, and I think it has a ton of potential.
So let's get under the hood a little bit. Let's explore what makes Deepseek R1 so special. What's the secret sauce that powers this AI?
At its core, Deepseek R1 is driven by a large language model, or LLM. Now, LLMs are basically these complex algorithms that are trained on huge amounts of data. Think of it like feeding an AI a massive library, full of books and articles and code. And this training process allows the AI to learn all the patterns in language and develop an understanding of how words and concepts are all related. And one of the things that sets Deepseek R1 apart is the sheer size of its LLM. We're talking billions of parameters. Now, for those who may not be familiar with that term, parameters are like these tiny connections in the AI's neural network. They determine how information flows and is processed within the model. Imagine a massive network of roads connecting different cities. The more roads you have, the easier it is to get from one place to another. In the same way, more parameters in an LLM mean more complex connections and a greater capacity to learn and process information. It's like giving the AI a much bigger and more intricate map to navigate.
But it's not just about the size of the LLM, right? The quality and diversity of the training data also plays a crucial role. What did they feed this AI to make it so smart?
Well, Deepseek R1's training dataset is anything but ordinary. It goes way beyond your typical books and scientific papers. They've thrown in some really interesting stuff, like code repositories from platforms like GitHub, and even threads from online forums like Reddit. It's like they wanted to expose the AI to the full spectrum of human language. From the technical jargon that programmers use to the casual slang of internet users, they wanted to give it this really diverse diet, making it more well-rounded and adaptable to different situations.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
It makes sense. If you want an AI to understand the real world, you need to train it on real-world data, not just the polished language of textbooks and research papers.
Exactly. They've really incorporated the messy, unpredictable nature of human communication into their training data. And that's one of the things that makes Deepseek R1 so good at understanding different language styles and contexts.
But training an AI on such a vast and diverse data set must come with its own challenges. I mean, how do you make sure it doesn't just start parroting back random internet nonsense? How do you ensure it's actually learning and giving people useful information?
That's a great question. That's where reinforcement learning from human feedback comes in, or RLHF. It's a bit of a mouthful, I know. But it's a crucial part of Deepseek R1's training process. Essentially, RLHF involves having human trainers working directly with the AI model. These trainers provide feedback on the AI's responses. guiding it towards providing helpful, safe, and ethical answers. They're like mentors shaping the AI's behavior and making sure that it aligns with human values and expectations.
So it's not just about being smart, it's about being responsible too.
Exactly. They're not just unleashing a powerful AI into the world and hoping for the best. They're actively shaping its development to make sure it's a force for good.
So let's say I'm a programmer working on a really complex project, and I get stuck on this tricky bug. Could I just ask Deepseek R1 to help me out?
Absolutely. And it wouldn't just fix the error, it would actually explain the reasons behind it. It's like having a coding tutor right there in your computer, guiding you through the whole process. Imagine all the time and frustration you could save by having an AI that not only solves your problems, but also helps you understand the underlying concepts. It's like going from using a simple calculator to having this incredibly powerful mathematical tool that shows you all the steps and reasoning behind the solution.
That's pretty amazing. It seems like Deepseek R1 could have a huge impact on the way we learn and work.
And it's not just limited to coding. Its capabilities extend far beyond that. We're just scratching the surface here.
Okay, I'm all ears. Tell me more about what this AI can do.
Well, for starters, Deepseek R1 is a bilingual master. It can understand and generate text in over 100 languages, making it a truly global tool.
No more struggling with Google Translate.
Exactly. It can seamlessly switch between languages, opening up all these new possibilities for communication and collaboration. And another remarkable feature is its real-time learning capability. It doesn't just rely on its initial training data, it can adapt to new information instantly.
So it's constantly evolving and getting smarter with every interaction.
That's right. It's like a student that never stops learning. It can incorporate new knowledge and adjust its responses accordingly, which makes it incredibly adaptable to changing situations and allows it to stay ahead of the curve. And maybe the most interesting feature of all is Deepseek R1's ability to be customized for specific industries. Whether it's healthcare or finance or education, the model can be tailored to meet the unique needs and challenges of different fields.
So it's not just a one-size-fits-all AI. It can be a specialist.
Precisely. It can be trained on specialized data and fine-tuned to provide expert-level insights in specific domains. It's like having a whole team of specialized AI assistants at your disposal. And this is where we really start to see the real-world impact of Deepseek R1.
I've been reading about all sorts of fascinating use cases. Like what?
Well, for instance, startups are using it to automate their customer service. They're using Deepseek R1 to provide quick and efficient responses to customer inquiries, freeing up human employees to focus on more complex issues.
That makes sense. It's like having an army of virtual assistants handling those routine tasks.
Exactly. And in the research world, scientists are using Deepseek R1 to analyze these massive data sets at speeds that were just unimaginable before. One study even showed that it could analyze climate data 10 times faster than traditional methods.
Wow, that's a game changer. Especially for fields like climate science, where time is so critical.
Absolutely. It's enabling researchers to make these breakthroughs that wouldn't have been possible before. And even in healthcare, hospitals are using Deepseek R1 to help draft patient reports, which saves doctors countless hours of paperwork.
That's incredible. It sounds like Deepseek R1 is already having a really profound impact on all these different industries. But what about its creative potential? Can it do things like write stories or compose music or create art?
That's a great question, and it's honestly one of the most exciting aspects of Deepseek R1. It's not just a tool for analyzing data and automating tasks. It can also be this really powerful engine for creative exploration. For instance, YouTubers are using it to generate video scripts, saving them hours of brainstorming and writing.
So it can help with content creation.
Yes. And artists are using it to get style suggestions or to explore different artistic approaches. It's almost like having an AI creative partner.
That's really cool. What about writers? Can it help with writer's block?
Absolutely. It can offer prompts or generate different storylines or even help with dialogue. It's not about replacing human creativity. It's more about augmenting it, providing new possibilities and breaking through creative barriers.
This is all really impressive. But where do we go from here? What does the future hold for Deepseek?
Well, there are rumors of a Deepseek R2 already in development.
R2. Like Star Wars, so it's going to be even more advanced.
The speculation is that it will be faster, cheaper, and even more user-friendly. They're also putting a lot of emphasis on AI ethics, working to minimize things like biases and misinformation.
That's encouraging. It's important to make sure this powerful technology is used responsibly.
Absolutely. And they're also partnering with schools in developing countries to bring AI education to underserved communities. Imagine a child in rural India learning to code with the help of Deepseek. It's such an inspiring vision for the future of AI.
That's really heartwarming. It sounds like DeepSeek isn't just focused on technological advancement, but also on using that technology for good.
Exactly. They seem committed to making a positive impact on the world, which I find very encouraging.
I agree. It's great to see a company that recognizes the potential of AI, not just for profit, but also for social good.
This raises a really important question for all of us.
Okay, hit us with it. What question should we be asking ourselves?
As AI continues to evolve at this incredible pace, we really need to be thinking about its role in our lives. Is it replacing jobs, or is it augmenting human capabilities?
That's a deep question. No pun intended. It's definitely something we all need to consider, especially as we enter this new era of intelligent machines. I'm curious to hear what our listeners think.
Me too.
So for all of you listening, we want to hear from you. Share your thoughts and questions in the comments below. What stands out to you about Deepseek R1? What are your hopes and concerns about the future of AI?
Let us know.
We might even feature some of your questions in the next part of our deep dive into this AI. We've been exploring all these amazing capabilities and the potential impact of Deepseek R1. But there's this other AI giant out there that everyone keeps talking about, ChatGPT. It's been making waves since it kind of burst onto the scene. So it's only natural to wonder how Deepseek R1 measures up. So let's bring ChatGPT into the conversation and really see how these two AI powerhouses compare. For those who might not be as familiar with ChatGPT, let's do a super quick recap. What is it, and why did it become such a big deal?
Well, ChatGPT was actually launched towards the end of 2022. And yeah, it pretty much took the world by storm. It's a large language model chatbot, similar in concept to Deepseek R1, but it really focuses on generating human-like text. In response to all kinds of prompts and questions, you can ask it to write poems, translate languages, even compose emails, and it does a pretty impressive job. It was a major leap forward in conversational AI, and it really demonstrated the power of these large language models to interact with humans in a more natural and engaging way.
Yeah, so how does Deepseek R1 stack up against this conversational whiz? Are they essentially the same thing, just with different names?
Well, on the surface, they might seem pretty similar, but there are some key differences that set them apart. One of the most notable is Deepseek R1's speed.
Speed, you mean like how fast it can process information?
Exactly. Studies have shown that Deepseek R1 can process queries up to 30% faster than ChatGPT. Now, that might not sound like a huge difference, but imagine you're a financial analyst and you're working with these massive data sets. Instead of waiting hours for your analysis to run, Deepseek R1 could crunch those numbers in minutes. It could give you a significant edge in the fast-paced world of finance. That 30% speed boost really translates into real-world time savings and increased productivity. It's like having a supercharged engine under the hood.
So for tasks that require a lot of computation, like real-time data analysis or large-scale language translation, Deepseek R1's speed advantage is a game changer.
Precisely. It's not just about speed, though. Accuracy is another area where Deepseek R1 really shines.
Okay, accuracy. So does that mean it's less likely to make mistakes? Or generate those AI hallucinations we were talking about earlier?
That's the idea. Remember, Deepseek R1's training dataset includes a wider range of sources, and that combined with the RLHF fine-tuning really helps to reduce those instances of the AI generating incorrect or misleading information. It's like they've given Deepseek R1 a much more rigorous education. They're making sure it's not just repeating what it's heard, but actually understanding and applying knowledge in a reliable way.
That makes sense. I mean, if we're going to rely on AI for important tasks, we need to be confident that it's giving us accurate information.
Absolutely. Reliability is key. And Deepseek R1's approach to training and development really seems to prioritize that. And then there's the aspect of customization, which we touched on earlier. Deepseek R1's ability to tailor its responses to specific industries or even individual users, that's a major advantage.
So if I'm a doctor, I can essentially train Deepseek R1 to understand medical terminology and provide insights that are relevant to my field.
Precisely. This level of customization really allows Deepseek R1 to be a much more powerful and versatile tool. Compared to ChatGPT, which tends to be more of a general-purpose chatbot, it's like having an AI that can speak your language and understands the nuances of your specific needs.
Okay, so we've talked about speed, accuracy, and customization, but what about the creative side of things? Can Deepseek R1 like write a rap song like ChatGPT can?
It can certainly give it a try. I remember reading about this recent test where both AI models were asked to write a Star Wars-themed rap about machine learning.
Okay, I'm intrigued. How did they do?
Well, interestingly, both models were able to generate lyrics that were relevant to the theme. However, Deepseek R1's wrap actually incorporated more technical details about machine learning algorithms, which really demonstrated its deeper understanding of the subject matter.
So it wasn't just rhyming words, it was actually showing comprehension.
Exactly. While ChatGPT's wrap was more entertaining, Deepseek R1's really showed this deeper level of understanding. And the ability to integrate these complex concepts, it's like ChatGPT was more focused on style, while Deepseek R1 was all about substance.
It seems like Deepseek R1 isn't just trying to mimic human creativity. It's actually capable of understanding and applying those concepts in a meaningful way.
That's a very astute observation, and it really points to the potential of AI to not just replicate human abilities, but to actually surpass them in certain areas.
Now that's both exciting and a little bit scary, isn't it? I mean, what does it mean for us humans if AI can outperform us in creativity, problem solving? And who knows what else?
It's certainly a question that we need to grapple with, especially as AI continues to advance at this incredible pace. Some experts believe that AI will ultimately replace many human jobs, while others argue that it will simply augment our capabilities, allowing us to focus on higher-level tasks. It's a debate that's likely to continue for some time.
I think I tend to lean more towards the augmentation camp. I see AI more as this powerful tool that can help us to be more efficient, more creative, and ultimately more human.
I appreciate that perspective. It's important to remember that AI is a tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or for ill.
So it's not inherently good or evil. It all depends on the intentions of the people who create and use it.
Precisely. Deepseek AI has been quite vocal about their commitment to ethical AI development, but ultimately it's up to all of us to ensure that AI is used responsibly and for the benefit of humanity. We need to have these open and honest conversations about the potential risks and benefits of AI, and we need to work together to establish guidelines and safeguards to ensure that it's used in a way that aligns with our values.
That's a really powerful message. We have this responsibility to shape the future of AI and make sure it reflects our best aspirations, not our worst fears.
Absolutely. And it's not just about preventing AI from doing harm, it's also about ensuring that it's used to benefit all of humanity, not just a select few.
Right, it's about accessibility and inclusivity. We need to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to benefit from these technological advancements.
And that's where Deepseek AI's educational initiatives come in. Their partnership with schools in developing countries is a great example of how AI can be used to empower and uplift communities that might otherwise be left behind.
It's really inspiring to see a company that's not just focused on profit, but also on making a positive difference in the world. It gives me a lot of hope for the future of AI, knowing that there are people out there who are committed to using this technology for good.
I share your optimism. It's these kinds of initiatives that really remind us of the immense potential of AI to solve some of the world's most pressing problems.
Absolutely. And it's not just about solving problems, it's also about creating new possibilities, expanding our horizons and pushing the boundaries of human ingenuity.
It's about empowering individuals, connecting communities, and ultimately creating a better future for all.
Beautifully put. I feel like we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive, exploring both the technical aspects of Deepseek R1 and its broader implications for society.
We have indeed. From speed and accuracy to ethical considerations and creative potential, we've delved into so many facets of this remarkable AI, and we've touched on those big questions it raises about the future of work creativity and the very nature of intelligence.
But the conversation doesn't end here. We've actually received some really fascinating questions from our listeners, and we're really eager to dive into those, so stay tuned as we explore those inquiries and delve even deeper into the world of Deepseek R1. We've been on this incredible journey, exploring all the ins and outs of Deepseek R1. From its technical capabilities to its creative potential, we've covered so much. But now it's time to shift our focus to you, our amazing listeners. You guys have sent in some fantastic questions, and we're super excited to tackle them head on. So let's jump right in. Our first question comes from a listener named Alex, and Alex asks, can Deepseek R1 actually replace Google?
Ooh, that's a big one. Are we talking about the end of search engines as we know them?
Well, I wouldn't say it's a direct replacement just yet. You have to remember that Google built its entire empire on providing this massive index of web pages and ranking them based on relevance. It's all about those links and keywords. Right. You type in a search term and Google basically scours the internet, trying to find the most relevant pages based on its really complex algorithms. It's like having this giant library right at your fingertips.
Exactly. Deepseek R1, on the other hand, takes a bit of a different approach. It focuses more on providing direct answers to your questions. often drawing on information from multiple sources at once.
So it's more like having a personal research assistant than a traditional search engine. It's like having a super smart librarian who can synthesize information from all these different sources and then present it to you in this concise and understandable way.
That's a great analogy. Deepseek R1 can actually analyze things like research papers, news articles, even code repositories to give you really comprehensive answers to your questions.
That's pretty amazing. It could totally change the way we search for information, especially for people who need those quick and accurate answers.
I agree. And as Deepseek R1 keeps evolving, I think it's very possible that it could become even more integrated into our information-seeking habits. Maybe one day we'll be having full-on conversations with our AI assistants to find the information we need, instead of typing keywords into a search bar.
That's a really interesting thought. It would definitely be a much more natural and intuitive way to search for information. Okay, let's move on to another question. This one comes from Sarah, and she asks, is Deepseek R1 free to use? Now, that's a question on everyone's mind.
Well, unfortunately, no. Developing and maintaining an AI model as sophisticated as Deepseek R1 requires a ton of resources. It's like building a high-performance race car. You need top-notch engineers, specialized parts, and a lot of testing and fine-tuning.
Makes sense. So there's a price tag attached.
There is. But the good news is that the pricing is structured to make it accessible to a wide range of users, so everyone from individuals to big organizations. They offer different subscription plans, depending on your needs and how much you plan to use it.
And I imagine it's still more cost-effective than hiring a whole team of human experts to do all those same tasks.
In many cases, yes. Especially for those tasks that are really repetitive or time-consuming, Deepseek R1 can definitely offer significant cost savings. It's like having a team of tireless virtual workers at your disposal 24/7.
Okay, we have time for one last question before we wrap things up. This one comes from Mark, and it's a little more philosophical. Mark asks, is Deepseek R1 a threat to humanity? The age-old question about AI and its potential impact on society.
It's a question that's been explored so much in science fiction, books, movies, you name it. From HAL 9000 to Skynet, this idea of AI turning against its creators. It's been capturing our imaginations for decades.
Right. But it's important to remember that at its core, AI is a tool. And just like any tool, it can be used for good or for bad, so it's not inherently good or evil. It really depends on the intentions of the people who create and use it.
Precisely. Deepseek AI has been very open about their commitment to ethical AI development. But ultimately, it's up to all of us to ensure that AI is used responsibly and for the benefit of all humanity. We need to have these open and honest conversations about AI, talking about the potential risks as well as the benefits. And we need to work together to create guidelines and safeguards to make sure it's used in a way that aligns with our values.
That's a really powerful message. We have a responsibility to shape the future of AI and make sure it reflects our best aspirations, not our worst fears.
Absolutely. The future of AI isn't predetermined. It's something that we're all actively creating through our choices and our actions.
Well said. And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up our deep dive into Deepseek R1. We've explored its technical capabilities, its impact on different industries, and even the big questions it raises about the future of humanity. It's been an amazing journey, and we hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have. As always, a huge thank you to all of you for listening and for engaging with us in the comments. We love hearing your thoughts and your questions, so please keep them coming. And until next time, stay curious, keep exploring, and remember, the future of AI is in our hands.